Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, our podcast, or whatever we call this thing these days. Listen, I'm so glad to be here. Good evening to everybody. It's already the 9th of December, and we're trekking along. We're moving right along, and we've been having some real meaningful and necessary conversations. And my hope and prayer is that we have been growing and heading to a space and a place called better, and we're doing that together, even though we're talking about some heavy topics. I want to sort of do the same thing this evening, but I want to take a different twist. Listen, I have on my, can you all see this? I have on one of my holiday sweaters. So that can only mean one thing. That means if you're passing by, you need to jump into the chat. You need to hang around because we're going to do some fun stuff this evening. This channel is about motivation. It's about inspiration. It's about doing the very best that we can to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. It doesn't mean that today was a flop or a failure. It means that we're just conscious about our ability to become better tomorrow than we were today. That's all. It means we're just doing some inventory. We're doing some introspection, and we're taking a look at we're doing what we call a SWOT analysis and seeing how can I be a little bit better tomorrow than I was today. What we've done for the past year or so is to take a journey through this book right here, Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. There's a quote for every day. There's some bonus quotes in there. You don't need the book to join the conversation. It helps. So you can go on over to Amazon.com and get it. It's my 7th book. You can go over to Amazon.com and get it. It's a great stocking stuffer. So why don't you go and pick it up? But again, you don't need it to join the conversation. And what we've been doing is to take a look at some of those quotes and unpacking those quotes and giving some application to those things. And they have parlayed us into some other conversations. One of the conversations that I think has been very enriching is how to handle grief during the holidays. I probably want to take a little small look at that one more time this evening, and then we'll just sort of catapult over into something else. But tonight I want to talk about handling grief and all of that during the holidays from the perspective of understanding, do you know when it is time to recharge? Do you know when it is time to recharge? Do me a favor. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you will know when I've gone live, whenever I've uploaded new content. And then do me a favor, tell somebody, come on, let's talk to Cutler. I'm going to talk about knowing when to recharge and all of that stuff. And because I want us to be keenly aware of the fact that we are sometimes running out of fumes. Do you know when you have you ever realized that you were running out of fumes? Do you know when you've reached your limit? Are there times when you are just emotionally depleted? Are you aware of that? It's difficult, you all, to remain at peak performance when you are empty, fatigued, exhausted, and unavailable. Let's talk about recharging, and let's talk about that as soon as I come right back. Let's talk to God. Hey, like the song says, come on, let's talk to Cutler. I want to shout out the LTTC VIPs for this evening. The LTTC VIPs are the first 3 people to jump into the chat and who are there just ready to talk and anxious to dive into the conversation with me. Do me a favor, do a thumbs up on the conversation so I can see how many of you are with me already. But let me shout out the VIPs for this evening. Annie Cutler says, let's ride, get aboard. Natural Diva says, greetings, everyone. Tracy says, hey, everyone, good evening. And of course, a special shout out to McDina and Yvonne Jones. So glad to see all of you. Listen, I'm going to jump right into the conversation because, again, we are talking about recharging. We're talking this evening about recharging. I usually read 3 quotes, but I'm only going to read 1 quote this evening. I'm only going to read 1 quote for a particular reason because it really is a part of the conversation and the dialogue we've been having for the past a few days about handling grief during the holidays. This particular quote for December the 10th, that's the one that I read, is actually for tomorrow. But the quote says, you are never expected to give what you haven't been empowered to get. You are never expected to give what you haven't been empowered to get. Know what's in your arsenal. And I have to say this, I learned a long time ago to stop holding myself accountable for what I don't have, what I don't know, and what I don't control. I am not responsible. I'm not accountable for what I don't have, for what I don't know, and what I don't control. I find it interesting and also disturbing that just as we sometimes hold other people accountable for things that are beyond their capacity and their level of influence, guess what, you all? We do the same thing to ourselves. The same thing. How many of you have ever held yourself accountable to a level of capacity or to a level of responsibility that you know you don't control that thing, you don't own that, and it's not yours? The holidays are coming up. You all know where I'm going with this. The holidays are coming up, and I want us all to be holistically well. And I really want to help us tonight. You will relieve yourself of a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety if we stop asking people to give us things that they don't have the ability to produce. Tracy, you're right. You can't give what you don't have. And let's stop asking people to give us what they don't have. They can't give us, they can't produce what they can't give us what they don't have the ability to produce. For me, one of the most freeing, one of the most sobering, it had to be one of the most sobering, one of the most emancipating moments of my life was when I realized that I had been asking people for things that they didn't have the ability or the capacity to produce. And I would become frustrated with them because I was thinking, why aren't you giving me what I asked for? Why aren't you giving me what I need? Why aren't you giving me what I want? And then I had to realize, Cutler, they don't have the capacity to produce it. We've asked people for money that sometimes they don't have. We've asked people for love. We've asked people for laughter, for joy, and for all of that stuff when they sometimes just don't have it. And I want to talk about that on the heels of people navigating the holidays with grief. Sometimes they don't have the joy that we're asking them for. They don't have the exuberance that we're asking them for. They just don't. One of the things, you all, that I found myself saying to people this year is this, and I share it with you all. I've been saying to some people, I just don't have the bandwidth for that. I just don't have the bandwidth for that. I don't have the capacity to produce what you're asking. I don't have enough wiring to carry the energy for what you're asking me to do. So my offering right out of the gate to us this evening, my offering is the insight to know and to confess when you are overwhelmed. The insight to know and to confess when you are overwhelmed. Now, you all hang on to that word overwhelmed because I'm going to go somewhere with that this evening, all right? You have to know this because when you've fired all of your shots, when you've played all of your cards, when you've used all of your tricks, when you've pulled all of your tricks out of the hat and you've emptied all of your ammunition, you've got to know when it's recharging time. You've got to know when it's recharging time. Many times we're so busy trying to pour into other people when we are empty ourselves. How are we going to pour into other people when we're empty? How many of us have ever said, I feel like I'm running on fumes? How many of us have ever said that? I feel like I'm running on fumes. Tracy, yeah, that is my mantra these days. I don't have the bandwidth for that. I don't have the wiring to produce that energy. I don't have the capacity. And I think about it within the context of grief a lot of times. Grief will cause you to run on fumes over these holidays. Sorrow will do that. Loss and death will do that. And I say, as I mentioned that, I want to be sensitive to all of us today. And I want to apologize to some of my fellow passengers because as much as I've been talking about grief and mourning and all of that, one of the things that it occurred to me that I did not share was that we can grieve so many things, not just death. Death seems to be the epitome of our grief, but we can grieve so many things. Death is not the only kind of loss. It is not the only thing that makes us grieve during the holidays. Divorce, loss of health, major life changes like retirement, loss of routine, loss of relationships. We grieve all those kinds of things. So I wanted to be sensitive to those and go back and at least mention those this evening. I thought about it. So I want us all to be aware that there are times when we all need to be recharged. Do you know your recharging point? Do you know your recharging level? Do you know when you're empty and need to be refilled? Do you know when you're depleted? I want to do something. Because we've been talking about how to navigate the holidays and how to handle grief over the holidays, and I was ready to take us into the whole recharging area, and I will do that. But just as we had ended our last discussion, I came across some information that was trending, and many of you may have seen it earlier today. So I want to share this clip because I want to share this with you. I did a message to Nick Cannon because right after just as we've been talking about how to handle grief during the holidays, I discovered, I heard as many as you did, that Nick Cannon lost his 5-month-old son. He lost his 5-month-old son to brain cancer. And I think there were complications from hydrocephalus and all of that fluid on the brains and all of those kinds of things. And it is no secret. Many of you know that not only did I get one of my degrees from Howard University, but I also taught there for 15 years. As a matter of fact, I was teaching on campus when Nick Cannon graduated. And while I don't personally know him, I felt his pain, not the level of pain, but just the recognition of the context that we had been talking from. My God, how do you navigate the holidays? Death is one thing. Death of a child is another thing. Death of a child during the holidays is yet something else. And so I want to share with you all, just in case you have not seen it, I want to share with you this message that I sent to my Howard University Bison brother in the loss of his 5-month-old son, Zen. And then I want us to take a look at what recharging looks like. We're going to talk about and take a look at recharging, and we're going to see what it looks like. And I want us to be cognizant of the fact that emotional low and high can exist in the same container. All right. So then, I want you to stick with me because I want to present and I want to share this video, this message that I prepared this message for my fellow Howard Bison brother, Nick Cannon, in hopes that he sees it, in hopes that he gets it. And even if he doesn't, I hope that it helps someone else. So let me share that and I'll be right back. Now, you all, I'm going to tell you all this. I'm going to give you a heads up on something. Stick around because, just stick around. Because it's the holidays. That means it's holiday giveaway time here. Let's talk to Cutler. All right. Let me share this with you. They never die unless we stop calling their names. Try this name on for size. 5-month-old Zen. I recently did a broadcast about how to navigate the holidays, how to handle grief during the holidays. And I walked through sharing some pointers from me. I'm not a trained grief counselor, but I am a human being. So I shared some of my points and some tips and what I thought were helpful hints. Then I, in another broadcast, asked a few of my friends to come. We chatted and we had a conversation about how to navigate grief. Shortly after that broadcast, I heard about someone who was trending. And he was trending for a number of reasons. Some of you may already seen this and heard this, but Nick Cannon was trending. And in particular, he was trending because his 5-month-old son died. And here I am, having just done a broadcast. And the death did not necessarily resonate with me only because I had just done a broadcast about how to navigate the holidays while dealing with grief. Death is overwhelming all by itself. But when you compound that with the death of a child, make that even more complex with the death of a child during the holidays, and you have a recipe for emotional disaster. When a husband or a wife dies, the remaining spouse is called a widow or a widower. When a parent dies, the children, particularly young children, are called orphans. My vocabulary is not the most extensive or expansive, but I have yet to encounter a word that defines a parent when a child dies. Probably because it is so unfathomable that a parent has to bury a child. So I want to tell you why this 5-month-old Zen, why his death resonated with me. I mentioned that Nick Cannon was trending for several reasons. This is why he trends for me. This is why I took the time to do this. Nick is my Howard University fellow Bison, my HU Bison brother. And I don't know if he will ever get this message, but Nick, I wanted you to know that your son's death resonates for me because I've just spent all of this time, so much time, dealing with my father's death, my aunt's death, several relatives' death, and then trying to help others navigate grief over the holidays, man. And then you, my Bison brother, for you to lose your son right here in the midst of the holidays, my heart goes out to you. May you forever call his name. May you forever write songs about him. May you forever manage to infuse him in the scripts that you write. Love never dies. And for all of us who are dealing with grief, I suspect we will deal with it for the rest of our lives. And I've decided to give this thing called grief, I think in my vernacular, I want to give it a new nomenclature. I want to call it lingering love. It helps me to digest it a little better, to know that the broken pieces in there can still keep loving for as long as I live. My hope is that we give people, whether they are private figures or public figures, my hope is that we give people the space to be kind to themselves while they grieve. My hope is that we give them the space to to navigate how they need to navigate. There is no manual for doing this. There is no prescriptive, no prescriptive or codified set of rules for how to deal with death. Neither is there a set of rules about how to say what you need to say, about what to do. Sometimes people say, all I can do is be there. All I can do is to be a shoulder to cry on or ear to listen. To Nick and so many others who are dealing with death, I just want to say I'm sorry. Death for me is the thing that comes to strip us of power. It comes to, for the brother, it comes to emasculate. For the strong, it comes to obliterate. For those who have a certain kind of constitution, it comes to eviscerate and never to rehabilitate. It is the thing that I hate. So I want to share this. I hate what comes to eviscerate. And even if the words don't necessarily prick your heart or resonate with you, may the spirit of the words lift you as you know and come to realize that there are those of us who are wishing you the best as you navigate these holidays without your loved ones, as you try to make yourself okay with not being okay. Be kind to yourself as you give you the self-therapy that you need, want, and deserve. 2 words. They seem to do injustice for grief and mourning and death, but please know they come from my heart. I hate what comes to eviscerate. To my brother Nick and the loss of his son, I'm sorry for the son that you will no longer hold. Sorry for the young life that will never grow old. I'm sorry that you have to go through it. Sorry that you are forced to endure it. I'm sorry that you have to say goodbye. Sorry that the world has to watch as you cry. I'm sorry for this thing that we call grief. This thing that leaves us in inestimable disbelief. I'm sorry about this thing that I personally hate. This thing that comes with a vengeance, only to eviscerate. I'm sorry for the agony that death releases, as it forces you to now love through broken pieces. I'm sorry for the dreams that your son will never dream. Sorry for the songs that he will never get to sing. I'm sorry for the years that you will never know. Sorry for the young branch that will no longer grow. I'm sorry that I have to say, I'm sorry. May we all be lifted by the thought that others are truly concerned with what we now have to identify as a new norm. They never die until we stop calling their names. May we always call their names. And my brother Nick Cannon, I start by calling the name of your 5-month-old son, Zen. May he forever live in your heart, my brother. Wow. Wow. Someone asked me if I were going to do another segment about how to handle grief during the holidays, and I had to graciously say no because it weighs so heavy. I know it's a necessary conversation, but it weighs so heavy on those of us who feel the heartbeats of other people. I'm helping some others as I help myself navigate through this. Just a couple months ago, a dear friend, sorry, Tracy. Just a couple months ago, a dear friend buried his son, and I was there with him. And I just talked to him yesterday just to check in with him, say, how are you doing? So I encourage us to check in with each other, check in with people who are going through things. Just learn to check, just learn how to check in. That's all. Let's just learn how to check in with people to see how they're doing it, to make sure that they are well and that they are okay. So that is one of my offerings to us this evening, to have the capacity and the companion, the heart of compassion to check in with other people. All right. So what I want to do, what I want to do, since we're talking about recharging, how do we recharge from that? One of the things that I mentioned was my offering for us this evening was to recognize and be able to confess when we are overwhelmed. When we are overwhelmed, a few of you have asked me, and I've heard you, and I'm going to humbly do what some of you have requested. I've mentioned some of my other books, and some of you have asked, can you please review a few of your other books? I've done that, and it is my intention. I want to do that. So just as I think this would be a good transition for us to go into talking about how do we handle some of life's most intense moments. How do we handle some of life's most intense moments? And I know some of you may have walked through this book with me, but I want to talk about, when we start the new year, I want to talk about when I am overwhelmed. This is my 6th book. It's available here on it's available on Amazon.com as well. So you can feel free to go over to that, because in January, we will begin this discussion. As a matter of fact, some of you remember we started our book club and our discussion during the pandemic because of that book. Some of you have asked me, can you please just walk us back through that? Because just as we're talking about these heavy moments, we have so many other intense moments in life. Cutler, can you please? So yes, absolutely. So please feel free to go over. This is an interactive book, so go over to Amazon.com, pick it up, be ready. The first week in January, we're going to discuss this. But what I want to do, since I'm talking about recharging, it is the holidays. So make sure that you're sticking with me just for a few more moments, because I want to do some giveaways. So what I want to do is something, I want to do something funny. Talk about recharging and how to see how joy and sorrow can exist in the same vial. So it's the holidays. How many of you like to sing during the holidays? I want to know that. Let me know if you like to sing during the holidays, because what I want now, I want to see if some of you will be willing to come on screen with me. I'll stick around for a few more moments. I want to see if some of you will be willing to come on screen with me and just maybe do a Christmas carol. Because if you do a Christmas carol, I have a holiday giveaway for you. So I tell you, I've not done this before, but I am going to post, let me see if I can post a link here to see and give you all a minute to see if you would like to come on just for a few moments for the next 5 minutes or so. Anybody want to come on with me and sing a Christmas carol? It's the holidays. So I want to see how we're going to help just as we have talked about handling the grief as a community. I want us to talk about recharging as a community and see what we can do. So let's get ready for the holidays. Anybody want to sing a Christmas carol for me, with me? I'm not going to sing with you, but anybody. So let me know if that's you. All right? Because I have a couple giveaways and you might want them. I hope you all enjoyed that touching poem. I do hope that my fellow bison is able to see that. I hope someone shares that with him, because it certainly encourages us when we know that people are thinking about us and wishing us well. That is certainly the case. All right, I'm just going to stick around for. Oh, I see one person popped in. All right, let's see if she wants to sing a Christmas carol. Let's see. That is certainly the case.
Hey,
All right.
Elder.
I'm just going to stick around. I think you're on twice with me, so there may be feedback. So if you can turn yours down, and you can hear me from this screen right here.
Okay, I think I fixed it. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. All right. So Ashley, you want to sing? You want to sing something for us?
So I don't actually have a Christmas carol. I was going to sing encouraging him, but if you want a Christmas carol, we can sing something else.
No, if you want to do an encouraging him, I think we would all love that.
Okay. Because you were talking about Nick Cannon and his son, and oh my gosh, my heart just ached, as a mother, to experience losing a child. I just couldn't imagine the pain that he's, dealing with. And navigating this holiday season, like you said, the death of loved ones, and of course, the holidays like highlight the grief. So I was just sitting here while you were talking, and it just started ringing in my heart. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but only lean on Jesus' name. On Christ the solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. I love you all. I just want you to be encouraged during this time. I definitely miss my grandmother. It's been 1.5 years now since she's been gone, and that's been like the closest death that I've had. And it's been like, and you hear people's families where they, lose multiple family members throughout the course of their life. I've never had a, close relative pass away. So in my whole 33 years, I've never lost a, grandmother or aunt or uncle. It's always been, just us. But I'm just so grateful that the Lord has been sustaining us during this time. So I'm just, here to encourage everyone else who's grieving, during this holiday season. Like you said, be kind to yourself.
Yes.
I'm learning how to navigate that process. And then I will probably eventually as well consider therapy. They say therapy, grief counseling is very beneficial to some. So
that's encouraging to hear. Don't leave us just that, because I want you to see what people have said about you, Ashley. Hang on just a second. Tracy Johnson says, beautiful voice. Clap, clap, clap. Beautiful voice. J Song for you says, yes, Ashley. Of course, I'm putting in all these sounds. Ray Della Lewis says, beautiful. Yvonne Jones says, beautiful, 5 exclamation marks. Paula D says, clap, 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 clap. Linda Martin says, yes, clap. All right.
God bless you all. You didn't sing with me though, Elder. You were supposed to sing with me.
No, ma'am. I'm not going to embarrass myself. You are an amazing vocalist.
I love you, Elder.
So you all tell me this. because I haven't seen anybody else jump in to say that they want to sing with me, but I'm here. So this is the day of giveaways. Tell me
Okay.
this, you all. I have a giveaway for Ashley.
Oh,
So should I? Let's see. And Ashley, let me just put this name up here.
okay.
Mother Annie Cutler says, "Awesome."
Mama Cutler.
Yes.
Hi.
All right, so you all tell me, yes or no, by a show of hands, clapping or something, should Ashley get one of the holiday giveaways? Let me know. You all put it in the chat.
I
Let,
have your books. I have your books. So
okay.
yeah, I don't know if I have that one. So yes, I would love that.
Okay, all right, okay. So come on, you all, just by a show of hands, let me know, because we can go off the air. Y'all let me know if you think Ashley should get this holiday giveaway or not. What do y'all think? Ashley, let's see. I got one person says, let's see. One person says, McDina
Yes.
says, yes, 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 yes. Ray Della says, yes. Donnell Feaster
Thank
says,
you.
yes. Paula
Thank
D says,
you.
yes, with 2,700 S's. K Sharp says, yes. Can I get 2 more yeses for her? She needs 2 more, you all. She needs just 2 more to get this book.
Yay.
Come on, Ashley. I don't know.
Yvonne Jones said yes.
Yvonne Jones says, "Oh yes."
Oh yes.
And
Okay.
then Tracy says, "Yes." Donnell gives a hands up. Mother Cutler says one more time, "Yes, yes, 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 yes." Ashley Donnell says, I mean, now it's coming in. They're saying yes, but
Okay.
Ashley,
Thank
thank
you,
you
guys.
so much.
Of
Thank
course,
you
Elder. You
so
know
much.
it's
And
all
as a
love.
matter of fact, I think you have helped me to set the tone for, I think, what I want to do for the rest of this year. I think for the rest of the year, I want us to, as we're talking about recharging, sometimes you have to find out your tickers, what makes you keep going.
Right.
And for those of us who have certain gifts and talents, sometimes using those to uplift other people is what keeps us going. So
Absolutely.
thank you for popping in
Absolutely.
and
It's
just
my pleasure.
beautifully singing for us. Don't worry, I know how to get this to you. So
Yes.
it's
Yes,
not
you
like
did.
you have to send me your mailing address or anything. I
Yes.
I know you. So thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Ashley. I'm
Thank
honored.
you so much.
But
I
for the
love
rest
you.
of you all, do me a favor. I'm going to put my email up here. Ashley, just hang on. I'm not going to hold you long, but I'm going to put my email up here. And I want you all to do me a favor. Send me maybe just a 2-minute video clip of you singing one of your favorite Christmas carols. Just email it to me. Just you singing your favorite Christmas carol. Now, I don't sing like Ashley. Very few people sing like Ashley sings.
You can sing.
But go ahead and send it in. All right, you all. I have to say, and I'm going to keep you here because you're my special guest for the evening.
You're fine. It's all good.
All right, but you all, I want to say this. Know when you've reached your level where you have to recharge. Please accept my offering tonight, the power to know when you are overwhelmed, the power to be able to confess that, and also the power to check the power, the heart, and the compassion to check on other people. Let's do what we do, you all. Keep building community, maintain connectivity, keep your heads up, keep your hopes up, stay safe. There's a pandemic out there, another variant, stay sane. And I will see you all right here next Thursday. Do me a favor. Don't forget to send in those holiday Christmas carols. Start sending them after we get off the air. By the way, you all, here's a tidbit because I'm a geek. The sky was filled with activity night. Ashley, they said, can Ashley come back? We need that soothing voice during the holidays. So I'll work on getting her back. I'll work on getting her back.
I'm always online for the recipes. I don't mind.
Okay, all right. She says, what dessert is for Christmas? All right. So I think a J song that must have been for you. All right. Beautifully done. All right. So I tell you all this: the sky was filled with activity night. You all tonight. The International Space Station was flying over. Saturn is visible. Jupiter is visible. The brightest star in the sky tonight really is the planet Venus. So run out, take a look at it. Just take it from me. That's just a helpful hint that I've given y'all just because you tune in tonight. Ain't got nothing to do with what we talked about. I just want to tell you all, listen, from my heart to yours, know there is and always will be so much love. Yes, Linda, Tuesday. Send me those videos and Ashley, they're talking about you come back Tuesday, but y'all send me your Christmas Carol videos, and I'll see what I can do about getting Ashley back. Maybe her spouse, the maestro, would join us too. I'll see about that. You all take care. Much love. Good night.
Bye.